You don't need a better morning routine. You need a stronger first sentence, because the first voice you hear each day becomes the leader of your mind. Most people wake up and immediately surrender to the phone, to worry, to yesterday. Not today. Give me some minutes before you move, before you scroll, before you speak to anyone. Say 5 words that will either build you or break you. Present. Choose. Discipline. Endure. Kindness. If you can't command your mind in the morning, you'll spend the whole day negotiating with weakness. So listen closely. Because these 5 words are not motivation, they're orders. Before your phone tells you who the world wants you to be, you get one chance. 1 breath. 1 sentence. Because the first voice you hear in the morning becomes the ruler for the rest of your day. If that voice is weak, distracted, begging your day will obey that weakness. If that voice is clear, disciplined, steady, your day will start to align. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people wake up already defeated, not by reality, by their own inner commentary. They open their eyes and the mind begins late, tired, behind, too much, not enough, maybe tomorrow, and then they wonder why the day feels heavy. So let me ask you something simple, but brutal. When you wake up, what do you say to yourself? Not the motivational quote you repost. Not the I'm grateful you whisper while still half asleep. I mean the real sentence that sits under your ribs. The one that decides whether you keep promises today or break them again. If you don't choose your words, your fear will choose them for you. And fear has a limited vocabulary. It only knows avoid, delay, hide, complain, escape. So today I will give you 5 words, not 5 paragraphs, not 5 philosophies, 5 words. 5 powerful words you tell yourself every morning until they become your spine. Not as a cute ritual, as a training. And I'm going to warn you, these words will challenge you because they remove your favorite excuses. They take away your story. They don't comfort you. They wake you up. Good, because you don't need more comfort. You need more command. Let's begin where the morning really begins, not in your bed, in your mind. You wake up. And instantly, the mind runs to the future. It runs to tasks, to worries, to old regrets, to messages, to bills, to comparisons, to the face you showed the world yesterday. That's why people feel anxious before they even stand up. They have not moved their body, but their mind has already sprinted 10 kilometers. So the first word is not a success word. It's not hustle. It's not win. The first word is the simplest word and the hardest for modern people. Present. Say it. Not loudly. Clearly present. Because the moment you become present, you stop bleeding energy into imaginary futures. You stop dragging yesterday into today. You stop living in a story. You return. And when you return, you can choose. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you touch anything, before you scroll, before you speak to anyone, feel your breath, feel your weight in the bed, feel your hands. Then say the word present and notice what happens. Your nervous system shifts. The mind becomes less noisy, not because you forced it, but because you gave it a job. Now here's the pattern most people miss. Presence is not calmness. Presence is power. When you are present, you can see your impulses. You can catch the little lies. You can catch the voice that says just 5 more minutes. You can catch the hand reaching for the phone like an addiction. You can catch the mood trying to dictate your identity. Presence creates a gap. In that gap, you are free. And freedom in the morning is everything. But let's be honest, presence alone doesn't build a life. You can sit in presence and still avoid the hard work. You can be mindful and still be lazy. So the second word gives presence a direction. The second word is choose. Most people live as if they have no choices. They say, this is how I am. They say, I can't help it. They say, my mood is bad. As if their mood is the captain and they are the passenger. No, you are not a leaf in the wind. You are a human being, and your power begins the moment you accept that you are choosing always. Even when you say, I have no choice, that is a choice. Even when you say, I don't know, that is a choice to avoid responsibility. So tomorrow morning, After present, you say, choose. Choose what kind of person you will be in the next hour, not the whole day. Don't overwhelm yourself with a fantasy, just the next hour. Choose discipline over comfort. Choose honesty over image. Choose focus over noise. Choose effort over excuses. And when you choose, you stop negotiating with yourself. This is where people get weak. They wake up and they start bargaining. I'll start after I check my messages. I'll be disciplined after I feel motivated. I'll train after I fix my schedule. I'll be kind after people treat me better. That bargaining is a slow suicide of character. Choose ends bargaining. Choose says, this is what I do. This is who I am today. And if you're thinking, but I've chosen before, I always fail, good. That's honest. Now we go deeper. Because choice without repetition is just a wish. That brings us to the third word. And it's a word people misunderstand. They think it means brutal suffering. They think it means perfection. They think it means being hard and cold. The third word is discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is devotion. Devotion to the person you said you want to become. You don't need discipline for the things you like. You need discipline for the things that protect your future. And listen carefully. The morning is not about productivity. The morning is about identity. The first hour of your day is you casting a vote for the kind of person you are. When you wake up and you keep your promise, small promise, simple promise, your self-respect rises. When you break it, your self-respect leaks out. People talk about confidence, but confidence is not built by affirmations. Confidence is built when your actions match your words. Discipline is the bridge. So you wake up and you say, discipline. Then you do one discipline thing immediately. One, make your bed, drink water, wash your face, step outside for air, 10 push-ups, 2 minutes of stillness, write one sentence in a journal, open the book instead of the app. One discipline thing, right away, not to impress anyone, to prove to yourself, I am not controlled by comfort. And when you do it, something subtle happens. Your mind stops arguing so much because you just showed it. I lead. Now let me pull you into something that will make you uncomfortable, because it is the reason most people stay stuck even when they become present, even when they choose, even when they try discipline. They do discipline for a week, then life hits them. A bad sleep, a bad mood. Someone says something, a problem arrives, a bill, a mistake, a rejection, and then they collapse because they were disciplined only when it was easy. That is not discipline. That is convenience. So the fourth word is the word that turns discipline into something unstoppable. The fourth word is endure. Endure doesn't mean suffer blindly. Endure means you stop acting shocked that life is difficult. You stop saying, why is this happening to me? Like you're special. You stop needing the path to be smooth before you walk it. Endure means I can hold discomfort without breaking my values, because the truth is, you don't fail on your best days. You fail on the average days, the messy days. The days where nothing dramatic happens, just a slow pull toward laziness. Endure is for those days. Endure is what you whisper when the mind says, not today. Endure is what you whisper when the body feels heavy. Endure is what you whisper when your emotions want to run the show. And notice the difference. Discipline is what you do when you're fresh. Endure is what you do when you're tired. This is where people become real. Let me give you a small picture. Imagine two people wake up. Person one wakes up and says, I hope today is a good day. Person two wakes up and says, present, choose, discipline, endure. The first person is waiting for life to give them permission. The second person gives themselves permission, and over months, not days, the second person becomes someone you cannot easily shake. Because they trained endurance in the small moments. They trained the ability to stay with boredom, to stay with repetition, to stay with the uncomfortable truth, to stay with the work. Most people cannot stay. That's why they never master anything. They taste and leave, start and stop, promise and vanish. Endure changes that. But here's a danger. If you only train endurance, you can become rigid. You can become harsh. You can become a person who survives but doesn't live. A person who pushes but doesn't feel. So we need the fifth word. The fifth word balances the steel with the heart. Because the strongest person is not the one who feels nothing. The strongest person is the one who can feel everything and still choose wisely. The fifth word is kindness. And before you reject that word as soft, understand what I mean. Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is precision. Kindness is the ability to speak to yourself without cruelty while still demanding excellence. Most people are either brutal or indulgent. Brutal says you're useless. You'll never change. Indulgent says it's okay. Skip it. You deserve comfort. Both keep you small. Kindness says, I see you. And we still do the work. Kindness says you failed yesterday. Today we begin again without drama. Kindness says you feel anxious. Okay. Breathe. Present. Choose. Kindness is not letting yourself off the hook. Kindness is keeping yourself on the path without hatred. If you want a real morning practice, do this when you wake up. Say the 5 words slowly. Present. Choose. Discipline. Endure. Kindness. Then ask one question. What would a disciplined and kind person do in the next 10 minutes? Not the whole day. 10 minutes. And then do it. No, let's go deeper. Because some of you will say these words and still feel the same old resistance. You'll still feel the pull of the old identity. That's normal. Because your identity is not changed by one morning. It is changed by repeated evidence. The mind is like a courtroom. It doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about proof. Every time you keep a promise, you submit evidence. I am reliable. Every time you break it, you submit evidence. I am not. So your goal is not to feel inspired. Your goal is to build a case. And that is why these 5 words matter. They are not positive. They are functional. They give you a sequence: present, return to now, choose, take responsibility, discipline, act with intention. Endure, hold discomfort, kindness, stay human. Now, watch what happens when you apply them to real situations. You wake up late. Panic tries to take over. The mind screams, this day is ruined. Present. Feel your breath. Choose. You decide no self-punishment. Discipline. You do the next right thing. Endure. You accept the discomfort of being behind without spiraling. Kindness. You speak to yourself like a coach, not an enemy. That's a different life. Or imagine you wake up and you feel sadness for no clear reason. The mind says, what's the point? Present. Don't run. Choose. Even with sadness, I can move. Discipline. I will do one small task. Endure. I can hold this feeling and still act. Kindness. I'm not broken. I'm human. This is emotional strength. Not pretending you're fine. Not drowning in feelings. Holding them and still moving. Some of you have a different problem. You wake up and you feel nothing. Numb. Empty. Like life is gray. You scroll to feel something present. Feel the numbness. Don't escape. Choose. Choose one action that creates aliveness. Discipline. Put the phone away. Move your body. Endure. The boredom will sting. Endure it. Kindness. Don't shame yourself. Just return. Now a small interruption, listen. If you are waiting for motivation, you are already late. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a resident. You don't build a home with visitors. You build it with what stays. Now I want to challenge something that people secretly love. The fantasy of transformation. People want to wake up one day and feel like a new person. They want the morning to be magical. They want a sudden shift, a perfect routine, a clean mind, a peaceful heart. That fantasy is another form of avoidance, because the real work is not magical, it's repetitive. It's choosing again. It's being present again. It's enduring again. It's being kind again. The mind hates repetition. The mind wants novelty. That's why it scrolls. That's why it quits. That's why it starts new plans and abandons them when they become normal. But mastery is found in normal. So, when you tell yourself these 5 words, you're not trying to feel special. You're training to be steady. Steady is rare. Steady is powerful. Steady is what builds trust in yourself and in others. Now let's talk about the morning specifically, because the morning is where you are most vulnerable. In the morning, the brain is still waking. Your willpower is not fully online. Your habits take over. That's why the first action matters. If the first action is your phone, you are telling your nervous system, external world first. I come second. If the first action is a simple discipline, you are telling your nervous system, I lead. So I want you to hear this clearly. Your morning is not a time slot. It is a statement. When you wake up and you're immediately available to everyone else's messages, news, drama, you become a servant to noise. But when you wake up and you claim the first moment's breath, posture, water, silence, you become someone with a center. And someone with a center is dangerous in a good way, because they are not easily manipulated. They are not easily distracted. They are not easily pulled into other people's chaos. Now, I can feel the resistance in some of you. It sounds like this, but my life is busy. But I have kids, but I work early, but I'm tired. But I don't have time. I understand. So don't build a big routine. Build a small ritual. Say the 5 words while sitting up in bed. That takes 15 seconds. Then do one disciplined action that takes under 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If you can scroll, you can do 2 minutes. If you can watch, you can do 2 minutes. If you can worry, you can do 2 minutes. We're not negotiating with excuses anymore, remember. Choose. Now let me tell you something that will keep you honest. The words don't work if you say them like poetry. They work if you say them like a command. There is a difference between speaking and declaring. Most people speak like they are asking life for permission. These 5 words are not a request. They are an order. Present, choose, discipline, endure, kindness, and then you act. Now we go deeper into each word, but not as a lecture, more like a mirror. Present. Ask yourself, where do I abandon the present? Do I abandon it in worry? Do I abandon it in regret? Do I abandon it in distraction? Do I abandon it in fantasy? Your present is where your power is. If you leave it, you leave your power. Choose. Ask yourself, where do I pretend I have no choice? Where do I call my habits personality? Where do I blame others to protect my ego? Choice is responsibility. Responsibility is freedom, discipline. Ask yourself, what promise do I keep breaking? Not the big one, the small one. Because the small broken promises create the big broken life. Endure. Ask yourself, what discomfort do I avoid? The discomfort of effort, the discomfort of silence, the discomfort of saying no, the discomfort of being seen, the discomfort of being alone with your thoughts. The discomfort you avoid becomes the prison you live in. Kindness. Ask yourself, how do I speak to myself when I fail? Do I attack? Do I collapse? Do I pretend it doesn't matter? Kindness is how you continue without self-destruction. Now, let me give you an image without calling it a metaphor. Just see it. Imagine your mind as a wild animal. If you beat it every time it misbehaves, it becomes fearful, aggressive, unpredictable. If you feed it every time it demands, it becomes spoiled, weak, controlling. But if you train it with consistency, firm, calm, clear over time, it becomes steady, loyal, strong. That is what these 5 words do. Firmness, discipline. Endure, calm, present. Warmth, kindness, direction, choose. You know, I want to catch you before you turn this into a performance. Some of you will take these words and post them. You'll make them aesthetic, you'll put them on a wallpaper, and you'll still live the same. Don't do that. Make them private. Make them real. The strongest practice is the one nobody sees. Because when nobody sees you, you meet your true self. And your true self is either disciplined or it is negotiable. Now listen. Another interruption. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, you are training yourself to not trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, you will always seek external control. You will seek someone to save you, to guide you, to push you. But the person you need is already here, you. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, the world will try to rush in. Your phone will be there. Your worries will be there. Your old self will be there. And you will be tempted to repeat the same pattern. That's the moment. That's the real moment. Not when you're inspired. Not when you're watching a video like this. A real moment is tomorrow morning when you're alone. And if you can win that moment, just that small moment, your life starts to turn. Because a day is not changed by grand decisions. A day is changed by the first decision. Now let's do a short practice together right now as you read this. Don't rush. Breathe once and say the words in your mind present. Feel your body for 1 second. Choose. Decide. I will not drift. Discipline. Name one thing you will do today even if you don't feel like it. Endure. Accept the discomfort that will come with doing it. Kindness. Promise yourself you will return even if you fail once. Now, here's where it gets sharp. Some of you will say, okay, I'll do it. And then you'll still fail because the environment is stronger than your intention. So prepare. Tonight, before you sleep, make it easier to win. Put your phone away from the bed. Put water where you can reach it. Lay out your clothes. Decide your first action. Because discipline is not just willpower. Discipline is design. If you make it easy to fail, you will fail. So don't be surprised. Be strategic. Now let's talk about why 5 words matters. Your mind is noisy. Long speeches get forgotten. Complex plans collapse. When you wake up, you need something simple enough to survive your weakest state. 5 words is simple. And if you repeat them daily, they become a rhythm. At first, they feel like a practice. Then they feel like a reminder. Then they feel like a personality. Then they feel like your nature. And one day, something will happen. Stress, chaos, conflict. And you'll notice you don't react the same way. You will pause, present. You will take responsibility, choose. You will do what's right without drama. Discipline. You will hold discomfort, endure. And you will not destroy yourself internally while you do it. Kindness. That's not a motivational morning. That's a different human being. No, I want to speak